So we studied about sodium and potassium in the morning. Now we'll continue with two other important minerals. We also discussed about magnesium, if I'm not wrong. Right. So one of the most important minerals, trace elements that are present in your body, which plays multiple roles, is iron. Okay. Now, iron is present in every cells of your body. Almost 75% of the iron in your body will occur in RBC itself. Okay. It is a part of your RBC as hemoglobin. There is about 3 to 5 grams of total iron in a person's body. So, if I try to remove all the iron in a person's body, I will get about 3 to 5 grams in a healthy adult. Okay. And it takes part in multiple reactions. It is a part of multiple constituents in your body, multiple enzymes, multiple proteins, so on and so forth. So if you talk about the pure biochemical functions of iron, first of all, iron will exert a function through its compounds such as hemoglobin and myoglobin, which is very important for oxygen and carbon dioxide movement or transport. So hemoglobin and myoglobin both. Cytochrome enzymes, and certain non-heme proteins as well. They, which are necessary for electron transport chain, they take their origin from hemoglobin, or they take their origin from iron. They require iron for normal functioning. Peroxidases. They are lysosomal enzymes and which are required for phagocytosis and all. They will need iron. Iron is also associated with immunocompetence in your body. For proper immunochemistry, for proper effect of your immunity, you need iron in your body. Now, in general, if you look at the daily requirement of iron, an adult male requires somewhere around 10 mg per day. Adult female, adult female will also require somewhere the same. If it is a menstruating woman, she will require about 18 mg per day. नॉर्मल वुमेन में थोड़े औरतों में ज़रा ज़्यादा रहता. Some women require slightly more than normal, so you might find the range in between 10 to 13. Menstruating women will need about 18. Pregnant and lactating women will need considerably higher. Pregnant or lactating women will need about 40 milligrams per day. So the requirement is almost doubled, more than doubled, as you can see. Now, if you look at the dietary sources, organ meats will be your best bet. So kidney, liver, heart, they will be the best sources of iron. For vegetarians, there is leafy vegetables, pulses, cereals, apples. These are all good sources of iron. Egg, egg yolk, especially beans. Uh, Fish is also a good source of iron. Now, coming to iron transport in your blood and how it is being taken up by your cells. So, transport of iron occurs through a very special protein called transferrin. Transferrin जो है, it is produced by your liver. ठीक है, its main function is only to transport iron through your blood, through your circulation. Normally, in your plasma, the level of transferrin is about 250 milligrams per 100 ml of blood. ठीक है, this is the normal serum transferrin level is this much. Okay, and in case of iron deficiency, this level is increased. Your body starts producing more amount of transferrin if there is deficiency of iron. One molecule of transferrin can transport about two ferric molecules or two ferric atoms. Two Fe3 plus atoms can be transported using one molecule of transferrin. And when you talk about iron transport in general, there is also something called TIBC, total iron binding capacity. ठीक है, TIBC in your plasma is about 400 milligrams per 100 ml, meaning every ml or every 100 ml of your blood can transport 400 milligrams of iron, or you can also tell it in this way: 400 milligrams of iron is transported through 100 ml of your blood. So you can calculate total amount of blood is about 5 liters, so 50 times बढ़ के रहता है इससे. Now, one third of this capacity, one third of the capacity of transferrin to be to transport iron is saturated. ठीक है, it is saturated completely with iron. This protein bound iron जो serum iron रहता, ये protein bound iron जो है, that iron is roughly about 120 milligrams per deciliter of your blood. In case of iron deficiency anemia, a patient will have higher TIBC. The total iron binding capacity is increased because transferrin levels will increase. Okay, even though you are having iron deficiency, there is not enough amount of iron present. TIBC and transferrin, both of them will increase because transferrin levels is increasing, TIBC is increasing. TIBC is only the property of transferrin. Okay, when you look at when you're trying to diagnose a patient with anemia, you will generally look for these two as well. What is the patient's iron level? What is the patient's hemoglobin level? What are their transferrin levels? And what are their TIBC levels? Okay, how is their TIBC essentially? And transferrin will stay in your blood for about 7 to 10 days, slightly more than 7 to 10 days. Its T half is about 7 to 10 days. Okay, so it might stay for about 12 to 13 days. Now, in any scenario, this is a very useful index with respect to uh, anemia, especially if a patient is having lower amount of transferrin or lower TIBC capacity, there is a good chance that they might be suffering from anemia. Even if they are not showing the symptoms of anemia right now, they might be suffering. So regular checkup sometimes will reveal that they have a borderline low amounts of transferrin and borderline low amounts of TIBC amounts, low property of TIBC. So that can indicate that the patient is at a risk of anemia or they might have actually developed anemia. Now, transferrin receptors जो रहते हैं, they are present on almost all cells of your body. They are called TIR. Transferrin receptors बोलते हैं लोग. Transferrin receptors, what happens is, um, especially cells in which heme is synthesized, जो hemoglobin का heme part रहता, it is not pure iron as such. It is a combination of multiple things along with iron. But any cell that is able to produce heme will have this transferrin receptor. That iron transferrin complex. So you have iron and transferrin complex. I told you transferrin is responsible for transport of iron, right? So transferrin will complex with iron or iron will complex with transferrin, and this whole complex will be absorbed by the cell which is producing heme. Okay, the whole complex itself is taken up by the body of cells, and through receptor mechanism they are inserted inside, and that iron is released from transferrin. Later on transferrin will be moved outside and the iron is used by the cell. Now if you talk about storage of iron, that was only transport of iron. Transport of iron में mainly आपको याद रखना है transferrin के बारे में, the protein which is produced by your liver, responsible for movement of two ferric molecules, and transferrin will have a property of TIBC, total iron binding capacity. It should be able to bind to two molecules of iron. ठीक है, ferric specifically, two atoms of ferric. Now if we talk about storage of iron is in the form of ferritin. Okay. Uh, Generally, you will see iron is being stored in the form of ferritin in your intestinal mucosal cells. Intestinal mucosa. You will see it in liver, spleen. You can find it in bone marrow. All of these will act as storage houses for iron in the form of ferritin. Okay. Now, there is something called hemosiderin. Okay. Hemosiderin is a compound that is formed by degeneration or degradation of ferritin. Whenever ferritin is used for metabolic purposes and for whatever purpose it is being used for, that ferritin gets converted into something called hemosiderin. Okay. Specifically by partial degradation of ferritin. Now, hemosiderin contains more iron a lot of iron, and you will find hemosiderin granules मिलते हैं आपको. Hemosiderin granules can be seen in liver, spleen, bone marrow, anywhere where you are seeing the storage of ferritin. On all those places, after ferritin has been used, it will be converted into hemosiderin. Now what happens is, when an RBC is lysed, generally, let us suppose after 120 days of performing its function, an RBC is being lysed, or RBC is undergoing lysis. Now, whenever RBC undergoes lysis, hemoglobin is released. Okay? The structure of RBC breaks down and hemoglobin comes out. Now, hemoglobin will bind to a special protein called haptoglobin. So, what happens is, hemoglobin, this is all the mechanism of your body in order to conserve iron inside your body. Generally, you have to keep in mind that most of the iron that you consume, or at least most of the iron present in the patient's body, it will not be thrown out. Okay, it will be recycled again and again. Very rarely you will have that, you will have conditions that patients iron levels are very low, until unless they have a disease, iron is not being excreted as is, because iron does not get excreted through urine. Okay, even if you find it will be very very trace amounts, mainly it will only be excreted through feces. So your body will try to conserve as much iron as possible. So let us continue. RBC is undergoing lysis. Once it undergoes lysis, it will become hemoglobin. I'm going in detail in iron because it is an important trace element for you in your syllabus. You'll also have another one, zinc, but we'll not go into that much detail in that. ये एक होने के बाद zinc करे बाद your portion will be over for this chapter. From Monday we can start the next chapter. Now, hemoglobin जो है, hemoglobin, some of the hemoglobin that is released out of RBC lysis, that will complex with haptoglobin. So you will essentially get a hemoglobin haptoglobin complex. ठीक है, ये haptoglobin complex is taken up by your Kupffer cells. लिवर के जो Kupffer cells रहते हैं, Kupffer cells, these will take up your hemoglobin. Those are phagocytic cells, and iron is reutilized. This is one way. Okay, this is one way through which iron is being reutilized. Then, one second. This hemoglobin later on breaks down into globin molecules and heme molecule. Globin is the protein part, heme is the pure iron part. Not pure iron, but a complex of iron. This heme molecule gets complexed with another protein called hemopexin. जो globin part रहता, that is removed from heme, and the heme, that is the globin part is removed from hemoglobin, and the heme part that remains, that will complex with something called hemopexin. So you will get a hemopexin complex. Okay, this hemopexin complex is taken up by hepatocytes, and again iron is reutilized. ठीक है, जो hepatocyte ले लेते हैं, all the hepatocytes which are consuming these hemopexin complex, or which are housing the hemoglobin complex, they will essentially reutilize whatever iron is coming their way. Now the rest of the heme will get broken down into porphyrin ring. Okay, the porphyrin ring which is present in your hemoglobin, that gets separated, and what you end up getting is iron, pure iron. Okay, that porphyrin ring will get used up in bilirubin. One second. Right, this iron directly combines with transferrin. It will form a complex with transferrin present in your blood, and again it is reutilized. That is how the maximum amount of iron that is present in your blood is being conserved. ठीक है. Whatever iron is being degraded through RBCs, most of it, almost 99% of it, will be conserved back into your body, and the iron will be reabsorbed. You might be throwing away other byproducts from RBC lysis, but iron is conserved. ठीक है. This is because you will see that how excretion of iron may, and the factors that will cause iron to be thrown out of your body, there are other ways through which iron are lost. So your body will try to cling on to as much iron as possible. ये समझ में आया what is happening with RBC lysis? So there are three main proteins that are involved. First, RBC, when it gets lysed, let's suppose you cut open an RBC, you will get hemoglobin and other proteins as well, some other components. Hemoglobin, not most, some of hemoglobin will complex with a protein called haptoglobin. That haptoglobin gets absorbed through Kupffer cells of your liver, the phagocytic cells of your liver, and that way iron is reutilized. That is one way. Hemoglobin breaks down into heme and globin. Globin is thrown away. Heme molecule will complex. Some of the heme molecules will complex with hemopexin. That is taken up by hepatocytes. That is reutilized again. Heme molecule will break into iron and porphyrin. Porphyrin goes directly into bilirubin. Iron, which is
जी
released from heme, will complex with the transferrin which is present in your blood, and it is reutilized. It will be sent into stores of iron, essentially wherever intestinal mucosal cells ko ja raha, ya wherever it is transporting that transferrin, there that iron is stored. That is how your body is conserving iron. Wherever RBC is being lysed, most of the iron will be conserved. Now, iron, because of this reason, iron is called a one-way element. Okay. Because very little of what is being consumed will actually be absorbed. Okay. Regulation of iron is in such a way that absorption also will be limited to how much is needed. Until unless there is a disorder, there will not be excessive absorption, and whatever is already absorbed, that only will be circulated again and again. If there is any type of bleeding, so if we talk about excretion of iron, how it is being excreted, bleeding will cause iron deficiency, or bleeding will cause iron to be excreted out of your body. Now this bleeding might be an injury, or it might also be very common in menstruating women. Menstrual flow is a major cause of iron loss for women. Okay. So women who have, up to menopause, up to the age of menopause, they will lose iron at a rate of 1 milligram per day. Okay, this amount is being lost. On an average, men lose less than 0.5 milligrams per day. So you can see in menstruating women, the amount is almost double. Okay, that is why during menstruation, a lot of iron is lost through the blood. Okay. Now, feces will contain a little bit of unabsorbed iron with whatever you are eating, the amount that is unabsorbed. Your body will only take up what it needs. Whatever is not necessary, that will be thrown out into your feces. Okay. And sometimes you will also see that iron which is trapped in intestinal cells, large intestine, small intestine के अंदर जो cells रहते हैं, mucosal lining के अंदर, those cells which contain iron, whenever there is defecation, what will happen is, and over time, you know that mucosal cells will get desquamated. Okay, those squamous cells will get desquamated and new cells will replace that. The problem here is that there is only 30% of cells that is being regenerated. Okay, only 30% of cells of your intestinal lining is replenished every day, and you are losing a considerable amount, more than 30%. So this is creating a deficit. Okay, that deficit is why you need to consume iron from outside. Normally your intestinal cells are losing iron through shedding. Essentially, they will shed intestinal mucosal cells, and through that, in iron is lost into feces. Now your body will be able to replenish those cells at a rate of 30% per day. Okay, or 30% of cells that are lost, that is replenished. Okay, over time they'll be replenished back, but only 30% is replenished every day. So this creates a deficit. Okay, considerable loss of iron is occurring. So what happens is, you need to consume iron from outside to make up this deficit. Now, if we talk about factors that are influencing iron absorption, first and the most important factor will be acidity. Acidity, vitamin C. Vitamin C will help uh, essentially help in absorption, easy absorption of iron. It will help in conversion of iron into ferrous form, and that ferrous form is able to absorb very easily through your intestine. That is why generally vitamin C is given along with iron. Cysteine, amino acid cysteine also promotes iron absorption. If a patient is having iron deficiency anemia, उनके अंदर absorption rate बढ़ जाती. If a patient has IDA, in them the rate of absorption of iron is almost 2 to 10 times higher because their body is craving iron. uh, a diet with high phosphate content decreases iron absorption. If you are consuming excessively high amounts of phosphates, the amount of absorption of iron will be significantly lower in those patients. And so high phosphate, low iron absorption. And tea and eggs, if you are consuming tea and eggs with any iron source, tea or eggs, if you consume both of them it will be even severe, but if you consume tea or eggs, iron absorption is limited. It will decrease iron absorption. That is why it is advisable that after you eat food you should not drink tea. Okay. Even though there is a common myth that after eating food it is good to drink tea, but the problem here is that especially the tannic acid which is present in tea, let us suppose you consume 10 mg of iron through your food. One meal, let us suppose you are having lunch. In that lunch, the total amount of iron is about 10 mg. If you drink tea after having food before it has been digested, as in not waiting for about 2 hours or so, what will happen is out of 10 mg, 8 mg will not get absorbed. 8 mg gets complexed with tannic acid. Tannic acid is present in your tea, because of which what is happening, see if you can assume here, the 8 mg out of 10 mg is being lost, meaning there is an 80% loss. So whatever food you eat, if you drink tea after eating food, 80% of the iron present in that food is gone. So it is better to wait for a little while before you are consuming tea or drinking tea. Even eggs, the eggs will not decrease as much, but they will decrease the absorption, they will limit the absorption of iron. Okay. Iron absorption is diminished in copper deficiency as well. If a patient is having copper deficiency because of a disease, or if they are not consuming enough amount of copper, that will also negatively affect iron absorption. We will also see iron absorption being impaired in steatorrhea. If a patient is having steatorrhea, उनके अंदर भी iron absorption will be lower. ठीक है. Now, coming to iron deficiency diseases, the main one will be IDA, iron deficiency anemia. Almost 70% of Indians have iron deficiency anemia. Almost 30% of the world population is anemic, but 70% of Indians have iron deficiency anemia. So every 7 out of 10 people will have iron deficiency anemia. And 85% of pregnant women, they suffer from iron deficiency anemia. And anemia generally leads to, especially in pregnant women, will lead to impairment of a child's learning ability. If a mother, pregnant lady, is iron deficient and they develop iron deficiency anemia, it will negatively affect the child's learning ability. Their aptitude will get affected negatively. If it is in adults, this type of anemia will impair work capacity. They'll get tired very easily. They'll not be able to work for a long period of time, whatever work they do. Okay? Especially if they are doing any physically exerting work, that will be even more harder. They'll not be able to do it for a long period of time. Now, if you talk about clinical manifestations of iron deficiency anemia, one of the biggest problems with IDA is apathy. The patient will simply not care. Okay? They will be uninterested in the surroundings altogether. They'll become sluggish. And if IDA goes on for a long period of time, prolonged iron deficiency anemia, or prolonged iron deficiency in general, will cause atrophy of your gastric epithelium. Now, if gastric epithelium gets atrophied, it will cause achlorhydria. Achlorhydria is a condition in which HCl is not being produced in your stomach. Okay, there's no HCl in your stomach. This in turn causes even less amount of iron absorption. So you can see it is a very vicious cycle. So if a patient is having iron deficiency anemia or iron deficiency in general, unke andar over time, if it goes on for a long period of time, their gastric epithelium is being negatively affected, and it will essentially undergo atrophy. And if gastric epithelium undergoes atrophy, HCl will not be produced, leading to achlorhydria. If HCl is not produced, I told you, acidic condition is required for iron absorption. अगर achlorhydria हो रहा, if there is no acid present in your stomach, iron cannot be absorbed. So that will be a very vicious cycle. So iron deficiency anemia की वजह से और iron absorb नहीं हो रहा essentially. And if chronic IDA occurs, IDA for a very very long period of time, generally it will impair a patient's attention. Chronic IDA, impair attention, it will cause irritability. Other than that, it can cause lower memory. Scholastic performance will also be negatively affected, so they will not perform as well in school. Okay, so especially these are symptoms that will occur in children. Okay, generally anemia and apathy go hand in hand. Any patients who have anemia, उन लोगों के अंदर apathy होती. Now, if you are looking for anemia, the two main laboratory findings that you will check for is serum iron levels. It will be generally lower in IDA, and TIBC, total iron binding capacity. This will be elevated because of higher transferrin. Higher transferrin, higher TIBC, and lower serum iron levels will indicate a patient has iron deficiency anemia. Now, for treating iron deficiency anemia, let us suppose you are giving it in pregnant women. In pregnant women, you will use about 100 mg iron with 500 mg folic acid. Folic acid will facilitate the absorption of iron. If you are giving it in children, 20 mg of iron plus, this is iron, 20 mg iron plus 100 mg of folic acid, 5 times lower. Okay. Now, generally, iron tablets are given with vitamin C because it will be easier for you to absorb, and you will also give vitamin E with it because whatever unabsorbed iron is present. Now, obviously, you are giving supplement, but there will be some amount of iron that is not getting absorbed. That unabsorbed iron can create free radicals, and free radicals can be damaging to cells. Okay. You've already discussed about this long ago. Free radicals can cause cell injury. So what you can do is you give vitamin E supplement in those patients along with vitamin C. Vitamin E is a natural antioxidant, so it will get rid of those free radicals which are being generated. Now, iron toxicity, if a patient is consuming excessively a high amount of iron, is presented as hemosiderosis. I told you, right? The iron present in your body, especially जो ferritin रहता, that will be converted into hemosiderin after degradation of ferritin. In patients who have excessively high amount of iron, in case of iron excess, that condition itself is called hemosiderosis. Hemosiderin pigments, जो goldenish brown granules रहते, they will start appearing in a lot of quantity in spleen and liver. And this is very common in patients who are hemophilic. So hemophilia बोल के एक condition रहती, especially in children. Patients who have hemophilia, they will need blood transfusions every 3 months. And in these patients, generally hemophilic children who require blood transfusion every 3 months, if the whole blood is given every time, let us suppose you are replacing the whole blood every time, by the time they are 20 years of age, by the time they reach 20, they will develop hemosiderosis. Okay? Because that much amount of hemosiderin will start getting accumulated in their body. This is the most common way through which hemosiderosis can occur. Now, primarily it will occur through hereditary mechanism, as in hereditary hemochromatosis hai, iron is getting accumulated, and through iron overload, hemosiderosis is occurring. Um, you can have other disorders as well. Uh, if there is problem in liver, cirrhosis hua patient ka. Generally, what happens is if hemosiderin itself starts getting accumulated in cells, especially let's suppose it is accumulating in the cells of your liver, it will lead to cirrhosis. If it is accumulating in pancreatic cells, it will cause diabetes. If it starts getting deposited under your skin, it will cause yellowish brown discoloration. उसको हेमोक्रोमेटोसिस बोलते हैं. It will appear like jaundice, but it will not be jaundice. Even though the patient will have liver damage. So sometimes you might see jaundice plus hemochromatosis. Sometimes you might see only hemochromatosis without symptoms of jaundice. Now, sometimes what happens is patients will have cirrhosis, hemochromatosis, and diabetes together. Cirrhosis, hemochromatosis plus diabetes. This is called bronze diabetes. Okay. A patient's skin will be brown, bronze in color, essentially. Now, if we talk about iron deficiency, what are the causes of iron deficiency? Obviously, the first cause is you're not taking enough amount of iron, nutritional deficiency, or else it could be lack of absorption. Iron is not being absorbed properly. It is either achlorhydria or hyperchlorhydria, decreased amount of acid being produced, or no acid is being produced, or gastrectomy. The patient has undergone gastrectomy. It might also be a hookworm infection. In case of hookworm infection, it will start essentially there will be blood loss. One hookworm will cause the loss of about 0.3 ml of blood every day. Okay. And generally you will see that in a patient who is affected by hookworm, there will be about 300 such worms in a patient's gut. So that will cause about 1% of total iron in your body being lost every day. 1% of iron is lost. That will create a big problem if it goes on for a long period of time. Repeated pregnancies, that can cause iron deficiency. That is why it is generally advisable to uh, have children for every 3 years. They can give a gap of at least 2 to 3 years in between pregnancies. Chronic blood loss because of whatever reason, peptic ulcer hai, hemorrhage hai, hemorrhoids hai, whatever the reason might be. उसके अलावा if a patient has lead poisoning, in those condition also iron deficiency can occur because iron absorption and hemoglobin synthesis are reduced if a patient has lead poisoning, if there is very high amounts of lead in their body. And because of this, in turn what will happen is iron deficiency causes more lead absorption, because there is nothing to inhibit lead being absorbed. Already lead बहुत ज़्यादा हो गया patient के body में, blood में especially. Because of that excessive amount of lead, what is happening is hemoglobin synthesis is reduced and iron absorption is reduced. That in turn causes that less amount of iron in turn causes more lead absorption. So this is a very vicious cycle. Lead ज़्यादा है already. This is decreasing iron. Low amounts of iron is again causing increased absorption of iron, or sorry, increased absorption of lead. Increased lead absorption. So it will lead to even further poisoning. So that's a very vicious cycle, and you have to give an antidote and all. Discuss about that in toxicology. So that is about iron in general. Complete iron ki katha. Now coming to the next element, we have zinc. Zinc will be a very small one. Zinc जो है is present in vegetables. You'll find it in milk, egg, pulses. You can find it in liver and meat as well. What is the importance of zinc? This fellow will act as a cofactor for many enzymes. A lot of important enzymes such as carbonic anhydrase, alkaline phosphatase, all of these enzymes are relying on zinc as a cofactor, meaning without zinc that enzyme cannot work properly. And if there is deficiency of zinc, generally wound healing capacity takes a hit. ठीक है. Wound healing capacity will decrease. uh, Acuity of taste and smell is decreased. What does acuity of taste and smell mean? The sensitivity of your taste and the sensitivity of your smelling capacity will decrease. Or your the degree of perception, how well you can perceive any smell, or how well you can taste anything, that will decrease acuity. ठीक है. इसके अलावा patients also show alopecia. ठीक है. Some patients will have dermatitis. Children के अंदर growth कम हो जाती, decreased growth in children, so it is required for normal growth. That is about iron. That is about zinc. You can simply supplement it by giving fortified zinc tablets. Multivitamins milte with fortified zinc. They will have slightly higher amounts of zinc. You can give that for a period of time till you are seeing reverse of these symptoms, reversal of these symptoms. So with that, we have completed the chapter of vitamins and minerals. Not very complicated. All you have to do is memorize.